Hi dear students, my name is Nesfer Jumanezova and I'm an English teacher at Oregon State University. And today's topic is about the learning styles and types of learners. So people learn in different ways. So present material in various ways to accommodate all learners. Most learners fall into more than one category. If something is not working, try a different approach. Gardner's multiple intelligence. So Gardner's theory was first exposed in his 1983 book, Frames of Mind. Gardner believes that the brain has evolved over millions of years to be responsive to different kinds of content in the world. Language content, musical content, spatial content, numerical content, and etc. And all of us have computers that respond to those kinds of contents, but the strength or weakness of one computer doesn't particularly correlate with other computer. So here you can see the basic learning styles. In a shortened word, the students mostly informed about the learning styles with three styles. These are kinesthetic learning style and the visual learning style and auditory learning style. And here you can see some more information about the learning styles. These are the basic learning styles. That's the first one, social learning styles, in learning groups and by working collaboratively. And the solitary learning style, they are this kind of learners learning independently and introspectively. And the next one is visual and spatial learning style. And this is the learning something through seeing. And the next, verbal or linguistic. This style I prefer learning through hearing. And logical learning style, learn something through numbers. And physical or kinesthetic learners learning style, learn something through moving, doing, and touching. And the last one is oral or musical learning style. This means learning something through music. Social learners get along well with others and are empathic, listen and communicate well. Learn from bouncing ideas of others, like working in groups or on teams, like individual attention from a teacher or tutor. This kind of features related to the social learners. The next one is solitary learners. Of course, the learning styles and coming to the learner's ability to learn something, they relate to some kind of learning styles, and they are called the learners, which is related to some learning styles. One of them is solitary learners. The solitary learners like to work independently, tend to be reflective and introspective, especially about their own thought process, and have good concentration and prefer a quiet learning environment. And the next one is learners with visual style. They need to create vivid mental images to retain information. And this kind of learners also enjoy looking at maps, charts, pictures, videos, and movies. And the next one is verbal learners. They have highly developed auditory skills and are generally elegant speakers. And this kind of learners also think in words rather than pictures. And the next learners is called the logical learners. They think conceptually in logical and numerical patterns, ask lots of questions, and like to do experiments. So, the next one is the auditory learners. This kind of learners prefer to think in sounds, rhythms, and patterns. Immediately respond to music, either appreciate or criticizing what they hear. And also These kind of learners are extremely sensitive to environmental sounds. Yeah, as you realize that these kind of learners can learn something through the musics, like singing, whistling, playing musical instruments or something else, and etc. So, a learning type may be defined in large part by the answers to 4 questions. How does the person perceive information through the senses or intuitively? Through which sensory channel is external information most effectively perceived, visual or auditory? How does a person prefer to process information, actively or reflectively? How does a person progress towards understanding, sequentially or globally? So, in the following, we'll try to answer for these questions. So, sensing learners. The learners like learning facts. They usually solve problems by well-established methods and dislike complication and surprises. They are patient with details and good at memorizing facts and doing hands-on work. And they are practical and careful. The next one is visual learners. The characteristic of the visual learners, one of them is they remember best what they see. The next one is they learn more when information is presented both visually and verbally. If your student is an auditory learner, these kind of learners learn something best through getting more out of hearing than reading words. And also they do well with lectures and may enjoy giving oral presentation. In addition, that they are attentive to change in pitch and tone. So, you can see some learners, they are called active learners when they tend to retain and understand information best by doing something active with it, discussing it, applying it, or explaining it to others. And another feature which is related to the active learners is they try to do that. Let's try it out and see how it works, like that. And the next one is reflective learners. This type of learners prefer to think about information quietly first. And then also, they think that in the way of the let's think it through first. And the sequential learners. This kind of learners tend to gain understanding in linear steps, following logical paths to find solutions. And the next one is global learners. Global learners tend to learn in large chunks, absorbing material almost randomly, without seeing connections, then suddenly getting it. They may be able to solve complex problems quickly or put things together in novel ways once they have grasped the big picture, but also may have difficulty explaining how they did it. And the next one is visual learners, spatial learners, to use graphics, color code, use color, use flow charts, diagrams, and they try to illustrate ideas and ask for written directions, and they visualize spelling of words or facts and study in a quiet place away from verbal disruption. So, verbal learners read aloud, recite information they need to learn, and use tones, and read aloud and record tests, and dictate to someone, and use verbal analogies and storytelling to demonstrate their points. So, mathematical learners try to classify and group material and make lists or outlines, and they try to make to-do list and calendar to chart progress or something else, and they use Venn diagrams or formal logic to figure out a position. And the next one is the kinesthetic learners. They are more sensible, and they do something by they learn something by doing. So encourage auditory learners by reading a lot, and with the help of the music you can get the success to teach this kind of learners. So that was all for today. If you have any questions, you can write on the model. Thank you for your attention. Bye.